The Oklahoma City Thunder are the hottest team in the NBA right now, and currently they're on a 14-game winning streak. But to be honest, I'm not even surprised by this, because OKC has been dominant this entire season. At the time of recording this video, they're currently 28-5, having the best record in all of the Western Conference, and they're one game off of having the best record in the entire NBA. This is one of the best put together teams that I think I've seen in recent memory. They have an MVP candidate in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They have the best defense in all of the NBA. They have a bunch of young guys like J-Dub and Chet Holmgren. They got arguably the best rotation in the entire NBA. And in this video, you're gonna understand why this team is the best team in the entire NBA. Because the fact of the matter is, this is not the same Thunder team from last year. I seriously think OKC's rebuild needs to be studied, because they've had one of the best rebuilds I've seen in quite some time. They went from a team that was only struggling for a couple years after losing Russell Westbrook and basically ending that era in what, like 2019? And it did not take long, but this team is back to being one of the best in the entire NBA. In fact, I've seen people have the conversation of what's the better team, this OKC team or the 2014 OKC team. Now, my opinion on that's a whole other conversation we can have one day. But if you were to say that this team currently is the best team that OKC's ever had, I wouldn't be mad at you for saying that. They have statistically a top 10 offense and the best defense in all of basketball. Like, I'm not surprised that this team is doing well, especially the way they're doing it. Now, I want to go back to last season for just a second, because last year the Thunder were having a coming out party. First in the Western Conference with a 57-25 record. Chet Holmgren finally had his debut. Shai was an MVP candidate. We saw guys like Lou Dort and J-Dub start to break out more and more. Overall, this team was just ready for success. They were a young team, and I honestly believe that's why they didn't make the finals last year. Them losing to the Mavericks in the second round just didn't sit right with me, because on paper, I thought OKC had a better team. Now granted, maybe that was just Dallas's year, maybe that was just their time, but I think OKC over the past year has developed more. I think they're more mature, and I think they're ready for this moment, especially because some of the additions they made in the offseason, but I'll talk about that later. But I do think that this season is their best opportunity to make the finals in quite some time. If they keep at the current win pace they have, I think they're going to win about 60 to 65 games, which again just goes to show how dominant this team truly is. I'll start at the top with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't want to talk about him too much because I have a video that I'm working on about the MVP conversation, and if you can't tell, Shai is obviously going to be a candidate, but honestly, what more is there to say? He is the best player on this team. He's been a great scorer. He's gotten so much better over the past couple years. I mean, the fact we're having back-to-back seasons where he's averaging over 30, 31 points per game, it's showing that as a scorer, he's improving. Not to mention, he's also a really great defender. It's something that Shai has gotten better at over the past year or two, and I think it's finally starting to show. Having a guy that can get you 30 while also playing great defense on the other end, that's something you really need. I mean, in December alone, this man was averaging 33, 6, and 5 with 2.5 steals per game on 56, 36, 91 shooting splits. Those are ridiculous numbers, and numbers that are gonna make you in the MVP conversation, but also help your team win, because I feel like that's something that we need to focus on. This man is getting great stats and his team is winning. Now that's all I really want to say about Shai, because once again, I'm gonna go more in depth in a video that should be dropping in a couple days. Another guy that I want to talk about is J-Dub. At the time recording this video, he's averaging about 21 points per game on 48, 35, and 78 shooting splits. And with the way that small forward voting is in the NBA, especially in the Western Conference, there's a possibility he becomes an all-star. And to be fair, I wouldn't be mad at that, because this man J-Dub quickly over the past couple years has become one of OKC's most important players. I mean, I think a lot of people assumed when Chet Holmgren went down like 10 games into the season that this team was going to struggle. However, J-Dub has stepped up in Chet's role and he's done amazing at it. Now, another guy I need to talk about is Isaiah Hartenstein. Do you remember earlier in the video when I said OKC made some great additions in the offseason? Well, Hartenstein was one of those additions. Now, don't get me wrong, in New York, he was a great guy. He was a fan favorite. Everyone loved him. But I honestly think in OKC, he's actually making more of a difference than he would if he was still in New York. Because at the time recording this video, this man Isaiah Hartenstein is averaging 12 points and 12 rebounds. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are enjoying the video so far, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We are currently on the road to 100,000 subscribers this year, so if you guys want to be a part of history, then subscribe to the channel. If you guys enjoy raw, unfiltered NBA content 3 times a week, then this is going to be the perfect channel for you. And if you guys end up subscribing and you don't like the content, you can unsubscribe at any time. It is totally free to try it out. Also, I said this in my last video, but I have started a membership program. It's going to be about $5 a month to join. Basically, in the membership, I'm going to be dropping a ton of extra videos that are not going to be on Spex Media. media. So if you guys want to be a part of that exclusive club, then just, you know, click the join button or just click the link in the description below. With all that being said, let's hop right back into the video. Now, I know I've made it this far in the video, and there's a guy that I haven't talked about yet, and that of course is Chet Holmgren. Now, while usually he would have been the first or second guy I talked about, the unfortunate reality is this man has missed a lot of time this year. I think he played the first 10 games, and ever since then he's been out, which again is still crazy that OKC is doing this well without him. Regardless though, I do think when Chet comes back, this team is gonna win like 20 straight games once again. I mean, I don't even know what I need to say. The defense will obviously improve. He's gonna have great numbers when he comes back. From what I've heard, he's supposed to come back around the All-Star break. So if he's able to finish out for the last 2 months of the season, heading into the postseason with, you know, somewhat fresh legs. Honestly, now that I think about it, I don't know why he doesn't just wait till like March or even like closer to April to play, because a fresh Chet Holmgren on a already hot OKC Thunder team, that is a recipe for greatness. Now really quick, there's a game that I want to talk about that has been turning off a lot of people about this team. If you guys remember, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, the NBA Cup was going on, and the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Milwaukee Bucks actually made it to the finals. Unfortunately for OKC, they got destroyed in the championship game. Like straight up, Milwaukee was just the better team and there was nothing OKC could have done. Now before the game, a lot of people were picking OKC to win, which is fair. They're the best team in the NBA right now. But unfortunately for them, Milwaukee would get the win and a lot of people would start to turn on this team. Mainly, I'm talking about Stephen A. Smith. Now the thing is, I don't want that moment to, you know, kind of tank what this team has done, because to put it simply, it was just a bad game. Like that is the best way I can put it. I don't think Shea is gonna have that type of performance that he had ever again. To be honest, the only reason I'm even bringing this up is because some people have used this as a way to say, oh, I don't believe in OKC, which again, I find ridiculous. Shea is still a great player. This is still the best roster in the NBA right now. Their defense just had a bad game. Overall, they're still the best defense. And most importantly, this team is going to do well come playoff time. In fact, I think the best thing about this team is the diversity in their roster. Having a guy like Isaiah Joe, who now that I think about it, I don't even think I've talked about him in this video, but having him on your bench, having Hartenstein on the team, having Caruso, having Kendrick Williams, having, you know, all these different guys, all of these people are able to come together to bring this team as one. And it is why the Oklahoma City Thunder cannot be stopped. You know, it's honestly kind of funny because before the season started, I actually made a video predicting who I thought was gonna win the NBA Finals. And if you go back to that video on my channel, it's called Predicting the 2025 NBA Finals. Look who's on the thumbnail and look who I said was gonna win at the end of the video. I'm always right. I always will be.
Turn on the lights in here, baby. Extra bright, I want y'all to see this. Turn on the lights in here, baby. You know what I mean? Want you to see everything. Want you to see all of the.
What will fix it? What do you want to see happen to fix it?
What do I want to see happen? I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball. And wherever that may be, we'll find out here pretty soon.
Well, looks like we have our next video.